we wonder about you mostly.
Yeah. No, definitely. I like meeting new people, especially people that are interested in science and space. And so, you talking about yourself is totally fine to me. Um,
Mm.
so a little bit about me. My name is Aaron. I am currently a student at Clemson University in South Carolina. I study electrical engineering and I focus on robotics and intelligent systems. And within robotics, I also tend to focus on robots that you use in outer space. So I've actually been very lucky. Well, kind of. So let me back it up. I have a bit of a crazy story. I really liked space growing up, but when they said, "Oh, we're going to cancel the space shuttle," they made that announcement when I was in high school, and so I was like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do? There's going to be no more space program." And so I decided to go to medical school, and I was actually in medical school to be a doctor for a year. And while I was in school, I saw the European Space Agency land a rover on a comet. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, like people actually do that. Like I didn't know that was a thing. Like that job still exists. So I left medical school after 1 year and I said, you know what, I'm going to do engineering. And yeah, I know I sound all positive about it now, but it was a really hard decision and it hurt a lot. But I'm so glad that I did because after I left medical school, I enrolled in school for engineering. And within my first year, I actually got a research fellowship from NASA. And I got to design a flexible robot that could grab things in space like old satellites or space junk and then deorbit them into the atmosphere. So after that summer, I applied to be an intern with NASA and I got accepted into the program. And so my first summer at NASA, I actually worked on flying cars. NASA was partnering with Uber to provide aerial taxi service in urban areas. It was a really cool project. So we got to design virtual reality simulators for that. And then my second summer at NASA, I worked on soft robotics. And soft robots are kind of like the robots that I work on at school, where they're flexible and they can bend into all these different shapes. And we were developing soft robots to work together as a team. And these robots would build houses on the moon for the astronauts. And then my last summer at NASA, I worked on a project called Assemblers, which Assemblers is, it's kind of like you with the space architecture. It's a bunch of tiny robots that come together to form one big robot. And that big robot is used to assemble telescopes and solar arrays, habitats, and other infrastructure in outer space. So the reference mission that we were designing for was these robots were going to come together and put up solar panels on the moon so that way the astronauts could have enough energy from the sun. So yeah, I've got a broad experience in robotics, particularly space robotics. I hope that I can continue on in the field. My plan is to finish my engineering degree and then hopefully get picked up by NASA or some other related company to work on those robots that we put in outer space. My dream job would be to work on something like a Perseverance or a Curiosity, where you actually launch it to another planet and you get to gather data and hopefully search for life.
Yeah.
And one more thing, I'm a bit of a talker, so if I'm talking too much, just tell me like, Aaron, shut up.
No,
And
no, no. Really, we are fine with that. It's okay.
um, and so in addition to the space robots, again, I really like designing cool robots. And so I started a company that creates robots that you drive with your brain.
Whoa.
Yeah. And and so what those robots do is we get a headset that you put on, and the headset can detect if you're focused or relaxed. And the headset will pass that data off to a robot, and the robot will drive based off of how you're thinking. So, have you seen Star Wars before?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, when he's like thinking really hard to use the force, and things move, like that's what we're trying to create with the robot. On top of that, we also do really cool designs. We're working on a robot right now that responds to sign language. So you wear a glove and it tracks how your fingers are bent and how it's moving, or how your hand is moving, and then it will interpret those sign language commands. So we're currently in the process of that. We just teamed up with a group in DC to bring that robot. So yeah, I have a little bit of experience in robotics. I love talking about the field, and I would gladly answer any questions.
Yeah, we love too about robots.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah. When you said about sign language, really I wonder about this thing. Is it a different kind of sign language, or is it that we know we use it with the people who are dumb and deaf?
So right now we're gonna do American Sign Language, so the language that people actually use.
Oh.
It's not going to be too complicated or too advanced. It will be simple commands like, "Hey, robot, go forward," or "Turn left." But still, the idea is that we would present this to students at deaf schools who actually do signs, so that way they have the experience of working with the technology, but it's also in a form that they can relate to.
That's great. That's honestly amazing. I wish I could see your lab and see your old robots. And also, you said that you left medicine and you came into the engineering for like space exploration and robots. Usually, I actually never came across that kind of person who left medicine. It's a very special title as well, and very difficult as well. And what was your inspiration for doing this crazy thing?
To be honest, I have a lot of doctors in my family, and so it seemed like a good idea at the time, especially since I thought that space wasn't going to be a thing by the time I became an adult. But then when I got into medicine, it was a combination of the fact that, yes, it is very special and I respect people that do it, but ultimately I wasn't happy. And I was doing just fine. Like I had good grades and like I was good at it, but I just wasn't happy, and it showed in so many aspects of my life. So and it was a really hard decision because people look up to you. There's the respect. In the U.S., like doctors make a lot of money. I imagine it's the same in Turkey too, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so I kind of gave all that up to chase a childhood dream, and most days I don't regret that decision. Some days I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing with my life? But and for me, the robots and the space, I have a lot more fun with that. And it's something that I really it just gives me so much energy, and I'm so passionate about it. And, I used to complain when I was in med school, like, oh my gosh, why do people stay up late to study? I would never do that. And now that I'm in engineering and I love what I do, I have trouble just going to sleep because I'm like, no, I can write this code. I can finish this. I can finish this.
Yeah, I understand. It's very, very nice. So you gave the message of that people should do what they love.
Yes.
Of course, yeah, always. This is a common question. I wonder this. If you will be selected for going to space, will you really go there?
First of all, if I got selected into the astronaut program, I think that is an incredible honor. That's an awesome legacy. And now when you get selected, there's a chance you may not actually ever fly to space, but I don't care. It's just being an astronaut is one of the greatest honors that I could think of. So it's not up to me, but if they do say like, "Hey, you can go to space," yeah, I'd go in a heartbeat because you know, that's what people are meant to do. We're meant to explore. We're meant to see new things and seek new places. And so space is the final frontier. Like there's so much out there and every astronaut who goes up to space says that it is an incredible experience. So yes, if I got selected and I got the chance, I would totally go.
Okay, I will change my question. You will never ever come back.
Okay. Well, see, okay. So here's the thing. Like with the Mars One mission, I thought that was an okay concept, but space travel is most effective when people can go to space and come back. Because when they come back, you know, you can share the stories. The people can actually meet you and see like, oh my gosh, you actually did it. I met Buzz Aldrin, the second person to walk on the moon, about 3 years ago at a conference. And when you meet him, it's like, oh my gosh, like, and you can see it in his eyes, like that man went to the moon. And that's such an inspiring thing. And so that's why I would say, okay, I want to go to space, but I want to come back if I have the choice.
Yeah. Really, our home is world. We cannot go.
Right.
Yeah, we have to know the value of world. I always think that really why people want to go out of this atmosphere. Okay, we can go, but except if you come back. If you don't come back, really, it's like a hell. What you will do under a high radiation on Mars and no water, no tree, no life. Even it's very difficult for us to go outside with our mask now because of COVID. How we will go outside all the time with a heavy cloth? Yeah, you see. So this is the reality of going to Mars and Moon. But when we don't think about the reality, okay, it's so fantastic to go to space. I personally want to go to an ISS and see the world out in other space and check the people, the situation that I actually feel they are feeling that. Always they say this thing. When I look to Earth from outside, I see the world is only one country, and everyone is one nation, and it shows us our oneness. So there, no matter our shape, our color, our language, or anything else. Really, it is a good experience for being an astronaut for me. It taught us the reality of our own selves. And okay, coming up with another question for you. What is the main purpose of humankind for requiring to go to further and even staying on another planet, living there and settled there? What is the purpose behind of this? Even I talked about a lot of critical things. Even there are these kind of things. What is the purpose? Main purpose, let's say.
So in my opinion, I think it goes back to our DNA. You think about through evolution, early humans could only survive if they moved to new places. And so you had to keep going to survive and live. And I think that trait has just been passed down over hundreds or thousands of years. And now we have this innate desire to explore new places. So that's why we look at space and we think, I have to go there. I have to see what it's about, because it's our caveman and cavewoman brain saying, okay, I need to move to survive. But And I think too, there's just so much that you learn in exploration and discovery. Even like if you go scuba diving or something, you're seeing the world in a new place, and you're seeing things that are exciting and just invigorating, and they make you feel more alive than you have in the past. So that's why I think we explore, because it just makes us feel alive.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, when I was with only architecture, I was also had a less excitement with this work. But when I combine it with the space, really, it made me alive to wake up again.
Yeah.
And with a high wonder, I really started with this title and continuing with it. And also actually, I'm thinking of that. Space is also making us to develop on the Earth. So all the space technology helped us to develop the technology on the Earth we use, even in the
Yes.
medicine and in the constructing and everything we do. And I have a question from Kaika. I don't know what kind of name it is, and it will be a little difficult for me to read like this. But I will do it for you.
I saw the question come in, and I was like, "How is she going to read that?"
Don't worry, I'm gonna do that. I even read it when it's up down. I wanna make it difficult for you. I will do it for you. Okay, you are very driven around, considering the things you experience it and your vision. That do you suggest someone who want to follow Carol like you? Yeah.
No, I don't, and here's why.
Why?
I gave up on the thing that I loved really early, and I'm in the process of struggling to get it back. And when I say struggling, like, don't get me wrong, there have been a lot of highs with this. Like, I've done a lot of amazing things, but at the same time, it has been really, really hard. It's hard to start over again. It's hard to go back to school. It's hard to change careers. So my advice is, once you find the thing that you love, just pursue it. Like, don't settle for anything less. Because I'm very lucky in that I'm able to do things that I love. But again, it comes at a big price. And when I talk to people and they're like, "Oh, well, if you could do this again, would you recommend I do the same thing?" No, like, don't make the mistake I made. Follow what you love.
I see. Yeah, I see. And meanwhile, I'm not really slow reader, but it's because it's not. For example, I cannot read well, so
That's okay.
Also, there is, out of being an astronaut, there is also another title which is analog astronauts. I met Dr. San Proctor. And yeah, analog astronaut. So I wonder about you. Have you ever thought about being an analog astronaut? If you can.
Yes, I have. So with the analog astronaut program, I still don't have, I have to finish school first. And actually my wife would probably prefer that, because I would never technically leave the planet, but I'd still be doing space related work. Because my wife is like, "Oh, well, if you go to space, that'll be dangerous. What happens if you don't come back?" I'm like, "What do you mean what happens? Of course I'm going to come back." But she brings up sorry, my camera slipped. She brings up a really good point. And so with that, I have looked into the analog astronaut program, and I do think that that is something I would like to consider.
I really don't know about the procedures and steps process, what they are. If you know, can you share with us?
So what they are as far as what they do, or how to become one?
I mean how to become that one.
It's kind of like being a real astronaut. You have to apply for the program. You send in the application, and if they select you down for some interviews, like they select you for interviews, and if they like you, they pick you. I know with the analog astronauts, they tend to like people with college degrees and more The background doesn't have to be technical. I think some analog astronauts are journalists and business majors and are law students, things like that. But in general, with anything space related, having a technical background does not hurt because a lot of space work is highly technical. And so when I say technical, I mean science, math, engineering, physics, well, physics is science, computer programming, things like that.
Yeah. After I knew about Science Proctor, really, I decided to walk on this title, being an analog astronaut, because really our title, that space architecture, is a little bit related to this thing because we have to try it firstly on the Earth. Like there are a little places on the Earth which are quite similar to space lands. Like as I know, there is one desert in Utah. It's a little bit similar to Mars land, and also I think one is in Antarctica, maybe a part of it. I'm not sure where exactly it is, but it's also a little bit quite similar to Mars land. So maybe I can try to construct my projects firstly on Earth, which are similar to Mars land. It will be like analog space architect astronaut. But
Yeah.
fine, I think I will work on it. I will try to do that.
Yeah, that's a cool job title for you to say, yeah, I'm an analog space architect. Like that's pretty awesome.
Hope to do that. Okay. I have this question always I ask to space related people, like people. When we checked out what we have done until now about space, I see that we reached the moon. People step on the moon, and even some like spaceships pass through, and like Voyager 1, 2, and New Horizon. But when I check this point, especially for as being a woman, I'm thinking that what's going on that I don't see any women who is still stepped on the moon. Why all of them are a man? What's your opinion about this? What's wrong with us, with this humankind?
So it's a couple of things. So you have to look at the way the world was at the time when we went to the moon, which was say 50 years ago. And in the United States, I'm not going to lie, the United States has an interesting history when it comes to race and gender and equity and inclusivity. So at the time, all the astronauts were, middle-aged white men. But I'm saying this lightly because of the current political situation here in the States. But in general, we have changed over the time. And I know now that NASA is very interested and invested in putting the first woman on the moon. And so that is what they're saying is 2024. And it's like, it's not a PR stunt. Like people are really working on it. I've seen the hardware that they're building for it. The money is getting put into the program. Like they're getting ready to launch, and we're going back to the moon. So with that, I think that things will change because we've just progressed as a society. We realize that women are just as capable of being astronauts, and pretty good ones at that, as men are. And I think that it's going to be really exciting and really inspiring for the entire world, but especially for every little girl in the world to look up at the moon and know that a girl that a woman has walked on that. Like I have so much hope and excitement to see that moment.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but as I heard that even the women anatomy is more stronger than man. I think it's not. I don't think feministic, but still, I heard like this. I'm not sure. I want to confirm with it with you. Is it true?
Uh,
Like,
I cannot, from a technical standpoint, I can't confirm that. I'm not an expert in that. But what I will say is that I know a lot of women, and I would argue that they are a lot stronger than I am. I think about my mom, my wife. They're, women are incredible, and so I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, but I
yeah.
can't confirm that.
I see. Yeah, I heard that some astronauts who came back from ISS, so they came back to their normal life on the Earth after a few days, like faster than man. So that's why I say this. And I heard from a professor that, and plus advantage is that the women like smaller, so it's economical to design a
Yeah.
exoskeleton for. That's funny. Yeah,
Oh
this
yeah.
is a second option for
Well,
women.
and then too, so women, and I, I'm trying to be as nice and respectful as possible, but women think differently than men. Like the mind of a woman, like the brain of a woman, is wired differently on a physical sense. So,
Mm.
women are really good at seeing connections and
Mm.
thinking globally, which is why women make incredible scientists and engineers and programmers, because all the problems that we face are very global and complicated. And from my simple man brain, like, yeah, I can think in a straight line and I can think fast, but that's not always the best case.
Yeah.
So with that, I really do think that given the complexity of spaceflight, women do have an edge based off
Mm.
of just how you see the world and how you process it. So
Mm.
I have a lot of respect.
Yeah, I see. Okay. I wonder this thing. Um, as I am the international coordinator of team, I search about like international projects as well, national or international. And as I told you, we participated some projects and successfully we submitted our projects. And I wonder if you have any information more about international projects for about science and space. Do you know? Do you have any advice for us?
So I know NASA every year they release a couple of big projects and their design challenges. I know they have a robotics design challenge. I saw one, I think last year, where they were asking people to design like a new space toilet, and they
Oh
open it up.
yeah,
Yeah.
new project. It's still on. I know. Yeah, that's one. It's still on.
Um,
You know.
and they open those projects up to the global community so that way everyone can participate. Um,
Mm.
so I would, what I can do is I can try to find as many projects as I can and send you a list.
Yeah,
But
that'll be great.
yeah, and I would really recommend that if you're international, because I know it's complicated if you're not a U.S. citizen to work for NASA, but there are opportunities for international, and you don't have to be like, you could be a team of university students. You don't have to be like a team of professional engineers. Like, in fact, a lot of the teams come from like colleges and universities all over the world, and I think it's a really cool opportunity to work on something that's awesome, but then B, get that experience in the space sector, because you understand kind of NASA's operations, NASA's protocols.
Screen frozen.
Sorry guys, my alarm went off. uh, but yeah, you get to like actually see kind of the logistics of working in the space sector. So I think that's really cool. And then on top of that, besides the projects, they're a great segue into a private company or a NASA contractor or even NASA themselves. If you say, oh yeah, I mean, I worked on this project and this project and this project, then who knows what that may lead to.
Mm. So even after our live cast, we will keep contact. And I
Yes.
think you can share with us when you came across any project, any
Mhm.
opportunity for our participants,
Of
our
course.
members. Yeah. So, is it okay for you to show us some like robots of you right now? You want me
I
to like
yeah, do I have the ability to share my screen?
yeah, yeah, you can do like mm, reverse the camera. Maybe there is a button.
Okay, yeah. So here, let me take you to my garage.
Yeah, let's go.
And I'll show you the robots that I'm working on. I can't, it's kind of hard to like put them on and turn them on, but I can at least show you the frame. All right. So this is kind of here, I'll turn the camera. This is kind of my workbench right now. We're currently working on the sign language robot. Here's the main controller for it, and then here's the Bluetooth module, so that way we can talk to it wirelessly. So if we look over here, this is actually one of the early brain robots that I built. This is a R&D version. Basically what happens is you wear an EEG headset like this, which this headset will detect your brain activity, and then they will pass that brain data onto the robot, and the robot will move based off of that. I'll tell you what I can do. I have videos of I have videos of robots working, so I can send them to you, and you can edit them into either this video or you can share them with your network.
Yeah, that will be great. And also maybe if you like, you can even open it, and then we can see on your screen. Maybe we talk about it if you like it.
Like the different parts?
I mean, if you like, you can even open it now if it's with you, so we can talk about it, the video.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can find the videos. Okay, so I can't screen share here, can I?
Yeah, you cannot screen share, but you can just reverse the camera and you can show the screen like that.
Okay.
This is the only option. This is less opportunity of Instagram.
Oh yeah, no, they should like include a screen share. Let's see if I can get my computer started. It's been real funny this morning.
Yeah.
But while I'm trying to do that, do you have any more questions? Hey, it's actually starting.
Yeah. How to say? I have a question, but yeah. Do you think that one day that robots will take all the jobs of us? We will be jobless, unemployed people around.
Okay, so here's what I like to tell people. The robots in the workplace is similar to when computers came to the workplace. So people don't remember this, or like a lot of people don't know this, but when the computer first came, it took a bunch of jobs. But then when you think about it, the computer also created 10 times the amount of jobs that it took. So I like to believe that that's going to happen with robots, where robots are going to take some jobs away, but then they're also going to create new opportunities for people to learn, or they're going to create new jobs for people. Like, think about it. A robotics engineer was not as common of a job 20 years ago as it is now.
Mm.
So I'm getting my laptop and it's coming on. So I'm going to show you a video of our brain controlled robots. Is that okay?
Yes.
The audio is going to come through. Like, I don't know if there'll be any sound because of. There's another video I can show you too. That's really cool.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So here is our brain controlled robot. I'm waiting on the video to load, and then I will share the screen.
Okay. In the meantime, I can maybe ask about this thing.
Sure.
It is about artificial intelligence. I'm not sure the word is true. One day, maybe the artificial intelligence will teach us languages, and like they will teach us a lot of things. The information will be uploaded, so they will automatically do everything instead of a human. Like there will not be any language teacher, maybe professor. We will not need professor, maybe. Do you think? I think that. Okay. I wonder what you think.
I think that there will be certain jobs that will always need to be done by a person. And because being a professor isn't just about teaching information, it's also there's a relationship that you build. And unless AI gets really advanced, which I don't think it would be, there are just some aspects of human connection that you can't replicate with machines. And so because of that, I do believe that you're being professors and some positions may always just be taught by, or, done by humans. Yeah. But okay, you ready for the video?
Yeah.
All right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a look. And so the kids are actually building the robots. We actually used the Lego robots for this first round, and we kind of modified their hardware to respond to the brain headset. And what we do is we have the students build the robots, and then they play with them for a little bit, and then the students actually race the robots up and down the room with their brains. And everybody has a really good time. It's really exciting. The kids really like the science. It's just cool. So another video that I found that I want to show this is from the lab that I work in school. This is me teaching a robot to give me a high five. I'll play it again because it's a fast video. And then if you want, I can show you some of the soft robots that I worked on at NASA, because they're posted to YouTube. Hold on. So here. While I'm picking that up, do you have any more questions?
If you have time.
Yes.
Okay, if you have time, we can ask a few questions more. I wonder this thing. Have you ever thought that one day the human can create emotional relationship with the robots?
Yes.
Robot is robot, but human is not robot.
Yes. So do you remember when Opportunity, the Mars rover, died? And it sent that message, and then it was my battery is low and it's getting dark.
Yeah.
People got really sad. People were really upset. My wife almost cried when I told her what happened with that. And so that moment told me, yes, we are capable of forming emotional relationships with these robots. Because if you go online, Reddit had a bunch of posts where people were doing memorials for the robot, and they were treating it like it was a living, breathing thing. But when you think about it, it's not that far off from being living. So, all right, here is the next video. I'm gonna put you over, and I will make this full screen.
Okay.
But yeah, these are the soft robots that they actually are capable of changing shapes. Yeah, they look really cool. And again, we wanted to use them to help build structures on the moon.
Yeah.
And a lot of people liked these robots because they look like aliens. And so basically what's going on here is they're talking about how traditional robots are dangerous because they hurt you when they hit you, but soft robots, since they're soft, you can hit them and not be hurt. And if you look, that's actually me in the video. Yeah, and so with these robots, what we did is one of the designs we made them out of like silicone, which is rubbery, and we put air bladders in the robots, and inflating those air bladders is how they would actually move. And then we would just pump air into the robots, and they would go. But yeah, so those are the systems that I've actually worked on.
Yeah. Also, it's I don't know, but is it connected with 3D printing also? Because as I know, the 3D printing is thought to be for the space buildings.
Yes. I know that there's been a lot of talk of 3D printing in space. I've seen plans to like put a giant 3D printer on Mars and then 3D print a habitat. I know a lot of the robots that we made at NASA we had to 3D print parts for them or molds. So yeah, lots of 3D printing.
Mm. I want to check the time. Okay, what time is it? Okay, okay. I think we came the end of the section, but still, I have two short questions, please.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Is it possible for us to create a robot which is producing emotion? I wondered about this too much. I don't know why.
I think it is possible. It depends. That's a question of artificial intelligence, or how good can we make AI? Because part of our intelligence is we developed emotion. So do we make does artificial intelligence get so advanced that the machines start developing feelings? That I think it's possible. I know that there are robots that respond to how you feel. They'll have you put on sensors for like your heartbeat, or they'll have you wear a head sensor, and then they'll be able to detect, oh, you're feeling anxious, or you're feeling sad, or you're feeling happy, and the robot will come and cheer you up. I've seen designs for that.
So just a second ago, I found a new project for you. Maybe you can work on the robot that produces tears.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fantastic.
When you yell at them, they cry.
Yeah. And last question. What is that robots and artificial intelligence cannot do that human can do? The only thing, maybe, I don't know what it is, that differentiate human and robots.
Well, first of all, like love. I don't know a robot that can fall in love with something. But with the current state of artificial intelligence and robotics, what we are finding is that they can't make decisions on the fly as good as we can. Like humans, it's just something about how we're wired, but you can throw us in a totally foreign situation and we can make changes to our plans almost instantaneously if we feel like that's the best thing. But like, for example, the rovers that are on Mars, if it gets stuck in a hill, it doesn't, like, the robot doesn't know, oh, hey, I could possibly get stuck here, let me go somewhere else. It has to wait on a command But then when it does get stuck, its software program like doesn't know how to get itself out, like because that requires a lot of minute adjustments on basically on the fly. So again, we as humans have robots beaten that way. Like we're just great decision makers. Well, sometimes, but
yeah. So again, we came up to the emotion. So the second thing I wonder is about art. Human can create a lot of amazing arts like music and like painting. What about robots? Do they still can do like humans do?
I don't know. I think I've seen articles where robots have like written stories or made music. And so I think they can. I don't know if they can do it as well as we can. Because again, part of that having the human brain is we're able to take unknown things and string them together and make something new. But I think robots, they're starting to get to the point where they can make art. But the question is, are they doing it because they want to? Like we make art because we really want to. Right now, robots only do it because we tell them to.